Welcome to the On Purpose podcast with Kimberly Michelle. I was supposed to have a different episode today. However, my father passed away last week. And because of that, this episode is going to focus on death and not how to turn death into a positive, but how to remember the positive things to move forward. My dad's biggest fear about dying was that he was going to be forgotten. He had kind of what we call the final conversation, with me about 5 weeks ago. And his personality really switched. It did the whole 180 after that. If you get time with your loved one around when they're going to be transitioning into the next life, it really kind of starts to strip all those positive memories. It really starts to impact your relationship with that person. And the positive things kind of go by the wayside because there's just so much awfulness towards the end, especially with cancer, which is what my dad was dealing with, and his death actually kind of came as a blessing because he was in just so much pain. Morphine wasn't even touching the pain of pancreatic cancer. And no matter how much we all thought that we were prepared for this, we weren't. We knew it was it that he was going to go, but you're never prepared. It's kind of like when you're younger and you're thinking about starting a family and you're like, oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I'm not ready. And it just keeps getting pushed off. At some point, you just have to do it. And it's really interesting because one of the biggest fears I think people have is that they're going to die. Except the irony is that that's the only promised thing that we have in this life, right? We were born, and the only thing that is for certain and guaranteed is that we're going to die one day. I think all of these things have just been put around death and make it so we're scared because we don't know. We don't know what's after. None of us know, really. Yes, you can have a total faith in God and a total faith in your religion or whatever. I hope, right? That's all we have. We hope. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that I'm almost 50 years old now, and I have been to a countless number of funerals. And I don't remember most of the things people got up and said about the person. My dad didn't even want a funeral. His whole mentality about it was, you know what? I'm here. I'm living. If you wanted to see me when I was alive, you're going to come see me. It ended up being like 5 whole people of his friends, not including his family. 5. And I find it kind of funny because these people are now mad that my dad didn't want a celebration of life. Spend time with me when I'm alive and celebrate me living, not me in death. So what I am trying to get at here is get a notebook and write down the positive memories that you have with someone. Because really, it gets to a point we're all on our own path, and people come into our path and they go out of our path. And once they start kind of going out of our path, we start to forget those memories. And being that his biggest fear was being forgotten, so get a notebook. I think there's power in the writing, something about hand to paper, write down your memories of people and how they impacted your life. And here on the Create on Purpose podcast, a big part of this is creating the life that you want for yourself, how you want yourself to affect other people and interact with the world. So write down how you remember this person, how this person affected you and shaped your life, Remember the positive things. And it's going to be a short podcast today because I need time to process. But really, I can't leave you with anything deeper than that. Remember the good things and don't let the awfulness that comes around death strip your good memories of that person away from you. Thank you for spending some time with me today. If something in today's episode made you think, helped you see something differently, or reminded you that you're not alone, I would be honored if you would share this with someone else. Subscribe for new episodes each week, and remember, not every day has to be perfect, just intentional. Until next time, keep creating on purpose.